Hey there, and welcome to another video by Inner Gems. This week, we are looking into the topic of being socially awkward. Have you ever been in a situation where it's so awkward you feel like you could cut the tension with a knife? You know, there are moments when the conversation stops dead and it's like those tumbleweeds from an old Western movie are just rolling by in slow motion. Yeah, we've all been there. Maybe you're on a date or meeting someone new at a social event. You suddenly realize you've run out of things to say, and now it feels like every second of silence is a lifetime. But here's the thing, you don't need to live in that awkward zone. In fact, by the end of this video, you'll have a simple, foolproof way to avoid those cringeworthy moments altogether. So stay tuned, because we're about to make those awkward silences a thing of the past. So why do we get so awkward around people, especially in new social situations? Well, it's pretty simple. Fear of judgment. We all want to make a good impression. We want to come across as interesting, funny, and confident. But the moment we start worrying about how we're being perceived, our brain goes into overdrive. You start thinking, what if I say the wrong thing? What if they think I'm boring? And bam! That overthinking leads to silence. You're sitting there trying to come up with the perfect thing to say. But instead, nothing comes out. But here's the secret. You don't need to be perfect. You need to keep the conversation moving, and the easiest way to do that, it is by turning the moment into a kind of game. Here's how it works. Instead of stressing out about what to say next, shift your focus. Look around. Find something in your immediate surroundings. It could be anything, a painting on the wall, a car driving by, someone's outfit, and use that as a conversation starter. Here's an example. You're on a date and you're both sitting there trying to think of what to say next. You glance over and notice a plant in the corner of the room. Now, instead of staying silent, you can say something like, "That plant over there reminds me of this little cafe I visited on my trip to Greece. They had plants just like that hanging everywhere." Boom! You've instantly created a conversation out of thin air. You've given the other person something to work with, and now they can respond. Maybe they'll ask about your trip, or maybe they'll tell you about a similar experience they've had. The key is to keep it casual and let the conversation flow naturally. Another great way to keep the conversation going is by noticing something about the person you're with. Let's say you notice they're wearing a cool jacket. Instead of just sitting in silence, you could say, "I really like your jacket. It reminds me of this vintage store I saw downtown. They had a ton of unique styles like that." Not only have you broken the silence, but you've also given a compliment, which instantly puts the other person at ease. People love talking about things that matter to them. So if they start telling you where they got the jacket or why they like it, let them. Here's a tip. Don't interrupt or try to one-up them. This isn't a competition. Instead, focus on what they're saying and let the conversation evolve from there. The world around you is full of potential conversation topics. All you have to do is pay attention and use your environment as inspiration. Maybe you're at a cafe and you notice a cool-looking car outside. You could say, "That car outside is really slick. I've always loved vintage cars like that. It kind of reminds me of this classic car show I went to last summer." From there, the other person might respond by talking about their favorite cars. Or maybe they'll mention a road trip they took, and just like that, the conversation keeps going and the awkward silence is gone. The beauty of this technique is that it works in any situation. Whether you're on a date, at a party, or meeting someone new, your surroundings provide endless material for conversation. It takes the pressure off of trying to come up with something brilliant to say and lets you relax in the moment. Avoiding one-upping. As we mentioned earlier, always try to avoid one-upping someone you've just met. Let's expand upon this point. Now, this next part is really important. When the other person responds to your conversation starter, resist the urge to one-up them. Here's what I mean. Let's say you mention the car and they reply with, "Yeah, I love vintage cars. I went to a car show last year." Your first instinct might be to jump in with, "Oh yeah, well, I went to 3 car shows last year and one of them was in Monaco." While that might seem like a natural response, it can come off as competitive. Instead, keep the focus on them. Ask questions like, "Oh, that's awesome. What was your favorite car there?" This keeps the conversation balanced and prevents it from turning into a competition. By showing genuine interest in what the other person is saying, you'll build a stronger connection, and the conversation will feel more organic. Plus, people love talking about themselves, so let them. As you keep practicing this technique, you'll start to notice something. The more you use your surroundings to spark conversations, the more natural it will feel. You'll find that the pressure to come up with something to say disappears, and your conversations will start to flow effortlessly. It's all about shifting your mindset. Instead of trying to impress the person you're talking to, focus on being present and curious. The more you do this, the more your confidence will grow, and that awkward feeling will become a thing of the past. Remember, everyone feels awkward at times, but the key is to push through those moments and take action. Don't let silence control the situation. Turn it into a game, get creative, and keep the conversation going. So the next time you find yourself in a social situation, whether it's a date, a party, or even just chatting with a stranger, remember, there's no need to panic. Look around, find something interesting in your surroundings, and let that be your conversation starter. You'll find that once the other person starts talking, you'll start to relax, and the conversation will flow naturally. With time, those awkward moments will disappear and you'll feel more confident in social situations. And hey, if you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on mastering self-improvement and self-help topics. Drop a comment below and let me know your go-to conversation starter. I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.